Hey guys, it's Steve. Okay, so there's this one kind of fundamental principle of digging that really opens you up to be able to uh, start hearing what the deeper truths are. And this is a thing that I started practicing or trying to practice if I remember to, and if I'm not all wrapped up in my own issues, where I think I know what's going on. And try and impose my version of reality on somebody, because that's basically what's going on. That's why I don't get into a lot of debates, because that just means I'm trying to impose my version of reality on somebody. And when some people do digging, or do sessions, they don't really do digging. They connect psychically and get some really cool information. Absolutely, no question. But it's still, even the really cool psychic stuff is still being brought through the filter of what they think is real and true and right. We all do it. I mean, it may not even be possible to be completely clean at that level, but what we can do and what we can practice doing, which is really hard sometimes, is acknowledging to ourselves that we don't really know what this means. We don't really know what's going on with the client. You can have having a discussion with someone, even an innocent, simple, normal, everyday conversation with someone, and it's really good often, if you can remember it and you can discipline yourself, to internally, as you're listening to the other person, and you can hear and watch your brain coming up with decisions about what that means and what you're going to say, and before they're even finished communicating their whole complete idea, pull back internally and say, okay, I really don't know what this means. I really don't know what's going on here. And when we do that, we open the door for so much more and deeper perspectives to start being presented to us, for us to start being able to be aware of and perceive. So literally on a day-to-day basis, practice, whether it's in a session with someone, a session with yourself, maybe even more powerful if you can figure out how to do it with yourself, because we're so attached to our stories and our ideas and our opinions about what's really going on with us and why we're creating this on the superficial kind of intellectual level. But if you can practice saying, I don't know what this means, I don't know what's going on here, help me, Creator. And you'll start being able to pull back, be more relaxed. Okay, because you're not in that kind of energy of trying to force something, even with good intention and goodwill. And just see what comes. I mean, you may get a psychic hit on why something is happening, and that may be very true on a number of levels. And at the same time, you still may not know exactly what's going on. So stay open to not knowing. And as you do that more and more and more, the door opens for deeper understandings of things, and listening. And so that when you're digging, you can say that, do that, and then start actually really hearing what the person is saying by listening without attaching meaning to it right away. Stay open, because your version of reality isn't the same as theirs. I don't care how close together you are. I don't care how similar you are to them. Your version of reality is not the same. You've got a completely different filter about how you're experiencing and therefore creating your experience of your reality that they do. So stay open. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what that means. Do that internally. Pull back in everyday regular conversations, and certainly when you're trying to do digging on people. It's a really powerful technique or principle to start practicing. And it won't be easy all the time, because you'll if you're like me, you'll start practicing in it, and then you'll start getting things, and then the ego or the intellectual mind will grab onto what the next layer is of awareness and then try and impose its reality on that. So keep on practicing pulling back as much as you can before you start doing stuff and saying, I don't know. I don't know what this means. I don't know what's going on here. Help me to understand this in the way that's in the highest and best creator. Help me to stay open and not impose my reality on somebody else. So let's give you everybody a download, how and what that feels like, what it really means instead of what you think it means from the seven plane perspective. That it's possible that it's safe for you, that you're not going to be wrong. You can do it without being wrong, and you don't need to be perfect. Sometimes when we try and impose our reality on people, it's sometimes, not all the time, the source of needing to do that is a desire to have to be right. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, would you like to know how to do all this without having to be right? You can still be right without having to be right. You can be right by letting go of being right. It's kind of a weird paradox. So if you'd like to have the creator's definition of what that really means, what it feels like, that it's possible, that it's safe for you in the highest and best way in any of your interactions, whether it's a professional kind of digging process with a client, whether it's theta healing or not. It can be traditional Western medicine. The same principle applies. Or just regular conversations, or intense personal emotional conversations with your mate, or your friends, or your parents. You know, when you're in the middle of those, pull back sometimes internally and say, okay, I'm all worked up, I'm upset, I've lost my serenity. Maybe I really don't know what's going on here. Pull back and stay open. You know, one of the best principles from a book called Stephen J. Covey, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, one of the most important principles is seek first to understand, then be understood. So if you'd like to have all of those programs, plus this one I just said, that you know how and what it feels like, what it means to seek first to understand, and then to be understood in the highest and best way in your personal life, in your professional life, when you're helping people, when you're in the middle of an argument with somebody. If you want all those programs I've said, just say yes now. Okay, cool, thanks.